Hello, everybody. Sorry, I forgot to turn my light on, so weird transition there. All right, first preseason game's in the books, and we got a lot to talk about. Starters played a good chunk of the first half. A lot of we even saw Kobe White get up like over 20 minutes in the first half, which is kind of crazy to see. And then some of the starters were in the second half. No Levine and no Patrick Williams to start the second half. And then we saw, obviously, then after that rotation, the bench kind of came in and cleaned up the rest, and the Bulls actually won the first preseason game, so congrats to them. Obviously, just, winning doesn't matter in preseason at all. And we got a lot to talk about the Bulls shooting percentages from the field overall in this one, because it was not good to start. And honestly, it didn't really finish good either, so they need to work on some things in terms of their execution, I guess you could say. But I think we learned some things, and I want to kind of go over the stuff that we kind of learned in this preseason game and break down some film, because I was able to get the recording in, and I have the entire game recorded, so I can bring it up on stream at pretty much any time I want to here. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're gonna get going in just a second here. Before I do get going, though, can someone tell me, I know there's some people here in chat, I see you all, am I synced with my audio right now? Like, when I talk, does it look like it's synced, or is it out of sync currently? Can someone let me know right now? I'm just gonna say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it look synced, or is it out of sync? Looks good? All right, appreciate it. All right, we can get started. So I want to just kind of go over what we kind of started at, which was that we got our starting lineup tonight. Our starting lineup tonight was it was Levine, it was Williams, Vucevic in the front court, and then it was Kobe White and Josh Giddey in the back court. So we got to see those guys play together for the first time, specifically this unit, I should say. And obviously Josh Giddey was the new guy on the team. And I won't lie, the first quarter was not great. Especially this unit out here, the starting unit did not look too synced up together. Offensively, I thought actually they were getting some nice shots. They just weren't going in. We saw a few turnovers here and there that I'm not too concerned about, honestly. But the first quarter was okay. You can tell the team chemistry just isn't there on both ends of the floor, but they were getting some nice shots. I was happy with some of the shots that they were taking, and they just weren't really going in. Second unit, when we kind of saw a mix of the second unit, so I don't really know what to call the second unit, but the first people that came off the bench was Phillips and Dosunmu, which was kind of a shocker to me. And then we saw a whole bunch of different lineups, but I will say that I think the lineup that we saw out there, which was Levine, it looked like Levine was running the point, actually. It was like Levine, Dosunmu, White, Williams, and Jalen Smith. I thought I actually liked that lineup a lot. Again, it didn't really necessarily translate in the box score, but I liked how they played. The three guards you could just kind of tell that the team chemistry was there in that lineup compared to when Giddey was in the lineup. So maybe that's something Billy Donovan uses moving forward. So first half, though, I'm gonna bring up my tweets here because it was not a good first half for the Bulls in terms of shooting. This was a horrific first half in terms of shooting the ball, and I'll show you what I mean in a second here, because this was flat out awful in terms of the first half. Sorry, let me pull this up here. So this is my at halftime tweet. So the Bulls took 23 threes, which I'm like, hey, good. That's a good number. We're on pace for 46. 26 points in the paint with some missed layups. I'm like, hey, even with the missed layups, the Bulls are on pace for 52 points in the paint. More free throws than the Cavs. You obviously want more than 10.5, but it's fine. We had 0 in the first quarter. But 38% from the field and 17% from 3 was disgustingly bad in that first half. It was awful to watch all the bricks coming in. I think the Bulls had 4 made threes in the first half out of the 23 attempts. So I kind of said it in this part, hey, I don't really mind the shots. I think some of the shots were pretty good. I like the up-tempo style. I like that they're taking threes. I like that they're getting into the paint. They're just not hitting their shots. So it's just getting the rust out and, working through it. And hopefully it gets a little bit better moving forward as we go into the preseason. What's going on, y'all? I see y'all in the chat now. How you doing? Let's see. Appreciate only preseason and versus bench mostly, but blocks look good. I will say, Rob, the blocks did surprise me tonight. You were right tonight. I don't know if it's going to continue moving forward, but you were right that they got a lot of blocks tonight. So I'll give you tonight. But I mean, Josh Giddey had 2 blocks tonight. I don't think that continues. But you're right about the blocks. Love Mata's, JP, and DT's minutes. I will agree. I think that those 3 guys played really well. I think all 3 of them played really well tonight. I was shocked to see Phillips be one of the first guys off the bench tonight. I did not think he would be coming off the bench that early. But he was part of the first substitutions where Io and Phillips came in. So I think Phillips played pretty well when he came in early, and then I think he played really well when it was mostly bench guys out there too. So major props to him. I'll get to Matas in a second because I have if you're looking at my Twitter, I have a thought going through my head right now that is not good to have in just the first preseason game, but I have it in my head and it won't get out of my head. So yeah, Matas coming from P. Will's spot. I'm just gonna leave that there because that might be kind of what I'm thinking. I can't win Vooch anymore. Yeah, Vooch is Vooch. I'm gonna complain about Vooch all the time because, and it's weird with Vooch because like I was happy when he first got here, and then I realized that man, he's not exactly that great. At the end of the day, though, Vucevic is Vucevic. We can't really do anything about it. Unfortunately, he's here, so they were getting open shots too, so that's not on coaching, that's just the player. Yeah, I agree. Viper Strike, yeah, like the shots that the Bulls were just missing, it's just on the player. I actually think that the offense was kind of ran fine tonight. There were some moments of isolation. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I was just happy that we didn't see any post-ups tonight from Vucevic. The ball really didn't seem to slow down like heavily at any point. Like, yeah, there are some moments where we walked it up in a half-court possession, but I'm not too concerned about that. I was just more concerned, like, we're gonna have like one person dribbling the ball for like 15 seconds, and that really didn't happen tonight. We kind of had one Levine possession, but he made the step back jump shot, so I'm not too concerned about it. The OB play, I'm assuming you mean Bitsum, Ornalot Bitsum. Yes, he did play. He did not play a lot though. So if you're wondering about Bitsum, he only played 6 minutes, which is kind of not a lot. Was hoping he gets a little bit more run, but between Horton Tucker and Bitsum for the last roster spot, I'm right now it is very heavily in favor of Horton Tucker right now. Obviously he got to play a lot more, but that's just for now. It seems like he's the heavy favorite to win it at the moment. Terry and Phillips guarding the posting 1 and 2 is intriguing. It is intriguing, yeah. So yeah, I'm overall happy with how those guys. Terry and Phil, I will say I'm less impressed by Terry because I do think that his jump shot is still a problem. But I do think that he showed a lot of like, I can still rebound, I can still push the ball, I can still be like a pretty decent like passer in general. He still needs to work on his finishing though, which is still my biggest concern with him, because if you can't make a 3-point shot, but you also really can't finish at the rim, then I don't know what you're going to bring off on offense. But you could still kind of see the skill set of Terry where it's like, I'm going to fill up the box score. And we saw that tonight, so yeah. Obi did play and seemed to work well playing next to Matas. Yeah, so Obi did come in. He kind of got a shot pretty quickly. He did play next to Buzelis. He also played next to kind of a bunch of different guys like DJ Stewart. And I don't really think he ever got a rhythm, so maybe next game we'll see him get a little bit more. THT was 3 for 10 overall. Yeah, he was. Yeah. It is kind of shocking to see this because it kind of felt like THT had more points. I won't lie. He made some shots that I was like, wow, I didn't think he'd make that one. But THT did miss some shots at the rim that obviously count against him. So yeah. THT only 23, dude looks like 34, moves like one in both good and bad way. Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. Yeah, Horton Tucker, he looks much older and he moves a lot like he's just older. I won't lie, I was shocked by how well he handled the ball. I did not expect Horton Tucker to be that good of a ball handler tonight, but he did that. Like, it was just he handled it pretty effectively. I mean, no turnovers tonight. He didn't seem too out of control, which is kind of what you're saying, Viper Strike, right? Like he wasn't, he didn't look very young and like out of control at any point. And that's like, you know, he looked kind of older, but in a good and bad way, right? So yeah, I was overall kind of happy with how he played. Terry did a good job, did a solid job defending against Mitchell during quarter 3. You are correct, yes. Terry started the second half, and he did really make Mitchell kind of work for some of his shots. Now, I will also say this. I do think that the Cavs in the second half, they started their starters, but it was just, they were just kind of like, we're done. And I kind of get it, you know, I do get it in terms of, for those guys. And you can just tell that the offense just like kind of just went, like, died down. Mobley really didn't put up much of an emphasis in the second half, which he did in the first half. And Mitchell was just kind of taking some step back threes. But to give credit to Terry, though, he did force Mitchell to some step back shots, which is very good. Excuse me. That's awesome from Terry. And that's what's going to get him on the floor. He needs to continue doing that every single night when it comes to him trying to find game time, which I don't know if he will, because he didn't play at all in the first half. And the first half, we saw the Bulls go 9 deep. So if he's not in the first 9, and this does not include Lonzo Ball, I don't know if he's ever going to get much time, honestly. But, you know, major props to him for showing up today, even though he only played in the second half. Yeah, he looked deliberate and had good court vision. Yeah, I think Terry, like, it's not necessarily like the most impressive day for Terry, but it is still like, hey, my defense is still good. I'm still a taller guard. I can still rebound the ball pretty effectively, and if I can have the chance, I will push tempo. His ball handling's still kind of suspect, obviously, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he kind of finds a way to kind of play. I don't know if he ever will, but yeah, I'm interested to see moving forward how he kind of does. Let's see. Buzelis was pretty impressive on both sides of the floor. Once he fills out his frame, he might be a dominant two-way player. Okay, yeah, so I think this is probably a good time to talk about Buzelis. So, Buzelis really surprised me tonight. I was very happy with what I saw. He came in, he only played 6 minutes in the first half, but in those 6 minutes, we saw him block, I think, 2 shots, excuse me, no. He blocked a shot. It was against Darius Garland. He had that really good defensive possession against Mitchell, which he forced Mitchell into like a step back mid-range shot that had no chance of going in. And then he leaked out, and then he drew the foul out on the leak out. So you're kind of seeing like the tools of Buzelis, right? And that first half, like, even though he only played 6 minutes, I was like, awesome, good. Then he played 14 minutes in the second half, and he really showed up of like showing like, hey, I can do a lot of things. Like, he rebounded a little bit more, and he just, like, Stacey King did say it, and you know, these days I'm not exactly agreeing with Stacey King all the time, but it does look like Buzelis is just kind of understands what to do at all times. Like, he seems to really know everything that's going on the floor. He's aware, and he moved a lot better than I thought he would at NBA tempo. That's like my biggest thing, because you know, he did play in the G League last year, but G League is still a little bit more unorganized. He then played in the Summer League, which is still unorganized and a little bit more chaotic. Playing up tempo in a more organized basketball style in the NBA, it's an adjustment, right? But I think Buzelis did such a good job tonight. I think he showed that he is going to be able to play at NBA tempo, even with the Bulls playing extremely fast. He played really well. So I was very, very happy with him overall tonight, and I hope he just continues to build on this. And already I'm saying he better be in the rotation. Like, he better be in the rotation to start the year. I don't really see why Torrey Craig needs to be in the rotation over him. Buzelis has to be in the rotation to start this season. I'm fine if he doesn't get like a ton of minutes, but he has to be in the rotation to start the year. And he needs that time to kind of build up on his game and see how he adjusts to, you know, playing all these games in a row at an NBA level compared to obviously G League level. So yeah, I'm hoping with Buzelis that he continues. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say what has been on my mind suddenly. And it was honestly, this happened in the first half. Like, I was watching the first half and I was thinking about this at halftime, and I was like, okay, you know what? It's one half. It's preseason. I'm not going to be too harsh on this. But I had the thought after the first half, and I just kind of stored it in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, this is something to think about. Then Buzelis checked back in, and it seemed like he just played better. Like, he played better in the first half, and then the play where he got the steal and he ran it, he took the ball himself up the court, and he then found Julian Phillips for the alley-oop dunk in transition. Then it was just like, oh man, like, I have to now say it on stream. Like, I have to say what I'm thinking right now on stream, and it's not fair to this player, but it's just automatically just in my head. And I'm like, man, I hate myself because it's just one preseason game, and I don't want to overreact, but here we are. And I'm going to say what I've been thinking. So, everybody right now, I want you guys to look at Patrick Williams' numbers right here. Okay, this is Patrick Williams' numbers for the entire game. He only played in the first half. He played 13 minutes, okay? So he had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals or blocks, 3 turnovers, okay? Now, let's see if NBA.com is going to work with me here. I don't think they're going to, but let me just test it. No, they're not. Okay. But you're just going to have to trust me on this. But in the first half, okay, so Patrick Williams played 13 minutes in the first half. Matas Buzelis played 6 minutes in the first half. His stat line was 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, okay? Also, keep in mind of this, he had 0 turnovers for the game, so he obviously didn't have any turnovers in the first half, right? So I looked at that, and I was like, okay, I'll keep this in my mind, because that's not supposed to happen in a sense, but it's also not fair to P. Will, really, because P. Will had to guard Mobley tonight, which Mobley had an incredible night. And the starters didn't necessarily play too well, but all I can think about is this. In terms of production in difference of minutes, right? Buzelis basically put up P. Will's stat line in 7 less minutes in the first half. That's not supposed to happen, right? For a guy that we talk about in Patrick Williams, where he's supposed to be this like multiple tools type player, can affect multiple areas of the floor. And while I do think with P. Will, sometimes his impact doesn't necessarily go into the box score in terms of his, defensive capabilities. The problem tonight is that Mobley was just kind of getting anything he wanted to. And it wasn't like P. Will was doing anything to stop him. So it's kind of like, well, the impact for P. Will was just like, wasn't really there defensively. That doesn't show up into the box score. And so then I kept track of Buzelis' minutes because I knew that P. Will was out. But there was a timeout where Buzelis had 12 minutes played in the game, and his stat line then showed 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Like, it just keeps showing up to me where I'm like, this guy, as a rookie, at the same position as Patrick Williams, has played basically the same amount of minutes, but he's given us more production in those minutes. Now, it's unfair for me. It's unfair to Patrick Williams. Like, it is unfair for like that I'm even thinking like this to P. Will, but it's just because the fact that P. Will over the years, he just seems to kind of disappear in games, that I'm looking at this rookie that I'm like, wow, he got that rebound that I think P. Will doesn't usually get in that sort of situation. He pushed the ball up the court in control with the basketball and threw it up to Julian Phillips for for an alley-oop dunk. That's something I've never seen Patrick Williams do in his entire 4-year career with the Bulls. And yet I'm told that one player has had point guard responsibilities in his past before. The other doesn't necessarily have that and could be kind of a little bit more slippery with the ball. If you're not aware, people have talked about Patrick Williams playing point guard in his past. I don't know, man. It's just that Patrick Williams started the game with the turnover tonight. And I'm just like, what? Like, he had 3 turnovers for the game. One maybe wasn't his fault because he stepped out of bounds, but it's just something that I keep looking at. And for P. Will, again, this is unfair for me to do this because, again, Buzelis didn't have to guard Mobley tonight. He did guard Jarrett Allen for some moments tonight, so there is that. But P. Will had to guard Mobley tonight. P. Will played in the first unit, which didn't exactly play too great. And then P. Will obviously didn't play in the second half, and P. Will has a 4-year career to look at versus Buzelis's, rookie season, and we only have the G League and Summer League to look at. It's not fair. It is not fair for me to do this to P. Will, but yet here I am. I'm thinking it already, and I'm not saying that Buzelis needs to start over Patrick Williams to start the season. Like we're not going there. Like even with all this thought, like I'm not saying that, but I am just looking at this and I'm like, production in similar level minutes. Who's going to give me the most amount of production at the same position in the same amount of minutes given? I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know. It's something just to kind of think about. And yeah, I'll leave it there. So you guys can just, you guys can kind of go off of what I said and be like, all right, take it for whatever you want. But it is something that I'm already thinking about. And I hate that I'm already thinking about it. And the fact that we're already thinking about it is a problem to me. Look, man, P. Will got paid this offseason, but I think someone even kind of said it in chat earlier. His job isn't secure. Like, his starting position is not secure. Just because you got paid this offseason does not mean that you're given the starting job. If you're not going to come every day and be ready to perform and give 100% effort, I'm sure there are many other players that are willing to go out and give 100% effort, and they might be willing to give more production than you are at the moment. So it's one preseason game. I'm not going to go ahead and say, oh, Buzelis needs to start over Patrick Williams immediately. No, I'm not saying that. But what I do know is that Buzelis better be in the rotation to start the season. And P. Will needs to show me something more. Because everyone told me, and these are, and when I say everybody, I mean the Patrick Williams believers, okay? Which I'm not one of them. Like, I'm not a person that like says Patrick Williams is like the next Kawhi Leonard, or like even half a Kawhi Leonard. But the Patrick Williams believers have all told me that whenever DeMar DeRozan's off the team, we're gonna see the best of Patrick Williams every single night. First game of no DeMar DeRozan, and I'm seeing the same Patrick Williams I've seen all like in his entire career. So it's either that, again, it's preseason and we shouldn't be talking about this right now, and it's stupid of me to be talking about it, or P. Will actually like seriously needs to step up here, or else we're gonna be in kind of serious trouble because we paid a guy a contract that maybe didn't exactly deserve it. Look, man, people are hard on Levine. People are hard on other players. When you get past that rookie deal, like the expectations change, So for me, I'm just kind of doing what I would do to what with Lonzo. Like Lonzo got paid similar money than what P. Will just got paid. And I'm like, hey, you better go out and perform. And Lonzo did that when he was healthy. So if you're P. Will, like, you just got paid. You got paid as a starter. You better go out and perform now. Or else, I mean, you got a rookie sitting here that I know is going to give 100% effort every single night. I don't know if you're going to give 100% effort. So it's just questions that I hate that I'm even bringing up so early. Yeah. So I'll move on. I want to catch up on chat here. Noel, I would like to see Lonzo with bench players. I also want to see Lonzo with bench players. I don't think Lonzo is going to be the main guard. What if he's ever part of like whatever he's playing? He will not be the main guard. I think he's going to be more of a wing. And you've already kind of seen it. Like it's going to be a 3-guard rotation between Giddey, Dosunmu, and White as like who's going to be handling the point guard responsibilities. So at any point, Lonzo's just not going to be really playing the point guard in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. But I think Lonzo, honestly, if Lonzo's healthy, I think he takes the spot that Julian Phillips took today, where Phillips was what came in with Dosunmu at the same time. I think Lonzo, instead of it being Phillips coming in, it would be Lonzo coming in. And you run that lineup that we saw out there, which was Giddey, Dosunmu, Levine, Phillips and Vucevic. Replace Phillips with Lonzo, and you like have Giddey play the 4 in a sense. And that would be the lineup, I think, or at least the first substitution. More dunks in this game than the Bulls had all year. Felt like 3 alley-oops too. That is also a good point, Rob. I actually think that might have been the case, because yeah, the Bulls last year just did not play above the rim, and we saw a ton of plays above the rim. One of which was the Ayo DeSumo alley-oop to Jalen Smith, which was awesome to watch in the half court. So hopefully, more of that. Can't wait till you talk about the starters. Your thoughts on everyone besides Kobe? Yeah, I can go over the starters, Taro. So Josh Giddey in the first half looked pretty dreadful. Giddey just didn't, like, he wasn't doing what I expected Josh Giddey to do. Like, he wasn't really getting the rebounds, which is what he's supposed to do. I thought that he tried pushing tempo, but the problem with him trying to push tempo a little bit was when Vooch is out there, it still clogs the lane. And you can still see that maybe teams are kind of willing to kind of come up. He will still. So Giddey needs to play a little bit faster, in my opinion, specifically in that first half. He needs to do better. But then he kept shooting threes that I was just like, we don't need to shoot these if you're Josh Giddey. And he airballed one, he missed another one that was pretty bad. Giddey needs to understand he's not going to be a spot-up shooter on this team, which I think he kind of figured out more in the second half, but I'll get to that in a second. P. Will did not start the game off well. He started off with a turnover, and he just kind of looked out of sorts. He didn't really look too involved in the offense, so again, it's like, maybe this is on the coaching staff, but, like, you're telling me that this is supposed to be a guy that's supposed to give you, like, 16 points per game? Again, I'm saying the Patrick Williams believers say this, and I'm looking at him, and I just don't think so. I don't think he ever will get there. So, you know, not happy with what people kind of showed tonight. He also seemed to just kind of get wrecked by Mobley, no matter what happened, and he needs to figure that out quickly, because he's going to be guarding some guys like that, because we've seen some big lineups out there now, I guess no, we don't have the Karl-Anthony Towns and Gobert lineup anymore, but we still see some lineups out there with some big power forwards, so he needs to kind of work on that, because Mobley was just kind of bullying him down there. I thought Vooch also did not start out too great. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but he had a nice little pick and roll set with Levine early on. He made a little hook shot. He made then an 18-footer in the second half too, but he completely missed the 3 that he needs to knock down. He was wide open. But defensively with Vooch, I mean, we're not going to get anything different from Vucevic, but like he's just a traffic cone, honestly. Did not help whatsoever in terms of the defensive end. Now, the thing that I will say about this though, and I appreciate what Vooch did tonight, was he seemed to set good screens and he was rolling hard. That's something that Vucevic did not do last year, okay? Vooch last year was just constantly setting screens and fading back to the three-point line. I'm going to show you a play earlier where he rolled hard and it actually affected the play, and it helped get a wide open three-point shot for one of the Bulls players. So he needs to continue doing that. I think he actually did a good job finding his teammates tonight. He did not post up tonight, which is a good thing. He needs to just continue rolling hard to the basket on pick and roll sets, because that's only where he's going to be effective from here on out. Kobe, even though he played very well tonight, he did start off a little bit slow, but I'm not worried about him whatsoever. And I already talked about Josh Giddey. Now with Zach, I thought Zach seemed to be all about pushing tempo tonight. I was happy to see that from him, because he obviously is one of the guys that did play a little bit slower. But we know with his athleticism and speed that he can play very fast. So he was very willing to push tempo tonight, and I'm very happy to see it. He took one step back 3 that I was just like, we don't need that. But all the other, like his other 3 threes he attempted, obviously one was a catch and shoot 3. He then attempted one off a double screen, fine. He then attempted one that was off a handoff in the corner, that was also fine. He made a mid-range shot that I thought was fine to take. It was in rhythm. And with Zach, he just kind of needs to get his like finishing rhythm down. This kind of always happens to him early in the year. It kind of seems like where his finishing isn't exactly perfect early on. So he missed a layup over Jarrett Allen, which he should have made. But I think Zach kind of played exactly what we wanted to. I mean, only one turnover, and it was a pass to Jalen Smith. He wasn't exactly clogging up the offense tonight. He still let Giddey and Kobe do their things. And he was pushing tempo, which is what we need from Zach, because he's obviously one of the fastest guys on the court. Defensively, he still didn't look great. I think he looked okay when guarding Mitchell, because he was guarding Mitchell to start the game. But whenever he got put onto like a guy that was more off ball, like it was Sam Merrill or Isaac Okoro, he just seemed lost still on the off ball defense, which again is what I've always said. Expect that from Zach. Like he's never going to be a good off ball defender, but I do think he can be a good on ball defender. So I think if he could just hone that in, I think he's fine. So yeah, but that's overall thoughts on the starters. And then Io, I'm just going to kind of say, I think Io, like for all the people that are worried about Io's minutes, I'm not personally. I think this is kind of what to be expected. If you're not aware, Kobe played 20 minutes in the first half, Zach played 18, and Io played 16. So even with Kobe White playing 20 plus and Zach playing 18, I also got 16 minutes in the first half tonight. So I don't really think you should be worried about Io DeSumo's minutes. And I thought he played very well. He came and got a steal immediately. He then hit a 3 on the next possession. This is just a classic Io DeSumo game, and I'm very happy about it. And he just needs to continue moving forward. So hopefully that answers your question. Taro. Miss layups, bro. Yeah, this game has to be the most blocks and dunks in one game in at least 3 years. Yeah, that probably is. Sorry, Rob. I'm catching up on all your messages here. Step coaching. Yeah. Matas and P. Will comparison is interesting, and it's for sure the story of the season. Also, it should be noticed that P. Will hits those open shots he missed today. I think it was an off day. So yeah, that is kind of what I'm trying to give Patrick Williams, like some grace in all of this. Like he is a 40% 3-point shooter, but here's my other issue about it. Like if you told me that P. Will tonight, like if this is supposed to be like his new start of like, okay, I'm not going to average only 10 points per game in this season, like I'm going to average 14. You got to take more shots than 6 in the first half, even in 13 minutes. So you got to show me more than that. So maybe it was just the turnovers that led to more, or led to less shots overall for him, but he's got to take more shots. And if anything for P. Will, the one thing I need to see more from him is just take more threes. He passed up on a couple, in my opinion, tonight, and he needs to continue working on that. Just take him. He is part of the catch and think club. He just cannot be part of that anymore. But yeah, I saw it tonight. He needs to continue working on it. Box, how you doing? Oh my god, my motto's here. I'm glad to see Box here. I don't know if you're still here, but glad to see you in chat. Sorry, I'm catching up on all the messages because I went on a long rant. It's why, if you think about it, saying it's unfair to do this to P-Will, he's in his 4th year in the league, when in reality we should be saying it's unfair to do this to Buzelis, who is a rook. You're not wrong. Yeah. You're really not wrong, Box. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad to see you, by the way. I'm really glad to see you. Maybe you've already left, but I appreciate you being here. Io, Kobe, Phillips, Matas, Joe, and Smith. I hope Billy puts this lineup out there this season. Curious how they would do. Io, Kobe, Phillips, Buzelis, Joe, and Smith. Yeah, we did not see that lineup today, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I would also like to see that lineup at some point. Not sure how exactly it would do. Technically, people played like 3 seasons game-wise, not even 3, I think. So, like, I've also, like, yeah, I get that Patrick Williams has not even, like, played, like, a total of 3 seasons in his NBA career because of injuries. But how many times have we talked about, like, the off-court, like, you can learn a lot watching the game, right? I don't know, man. I just think P. Will hasn't exactly learned a lot since he's gotten in the league, and I hope that doesn't stay the same. And maybe I'm just being too critical of him, but again, you've just gotten paid, so that's kind of my problem. The defense overall as a team from the bench mostly looked good versus their bench. I don't know about that personally. I just think that the Cavs bench is just worse overall. Giddey's pretty sluggish, or it's just me thinking so. Okay, let me talk about Giddey a little bit more. So in the second half for Josh Giddey, here I'm even gonna pull up. Hold on. let me do this. So, let me do this here. You're gonna hear noises. I do apologize. Oh no, perfect. Okay. So, let me. I'm skipping. Okay, hold on. Do this soon. I think Giddey in the second half showed more of what Josh Giddey should do. Like it made a lot more sense to me when I watched Josh Giddey in the second half. Like this is what I expected from Josh Giddey, I should say, in the second half. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, no. Sorry. No, this isn't. Am I in the right quarter? Okay, yeah, this is the right quarter. People, okay, Josh Giddey. Yeah, 37. Okay, so like, no, that's okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure. 10:33 then. So like, so right here, and it's time to pull up Epic Pen for you guys now because we're gonna start talking film. So when it comes to Josh Giddey, the biggest thing for him as a guard is his size. He needs to find a way to use his size to his advantage. So at any point he sees a guy like Darius Garland on him, who is only 6 foot or maybe even less, he needs to be thinking, okay, I need to somehow get closer to the basket and just use my size to finish over him, right? So Giddey is 6'8". I mean, he has a major size advantage over Darius Garland. This is exactly what I want to see, right? He just straight up just drives right at Darius Garland. Garland can't do anything. Giddey then uses his size because he doesn't have the greatest athleticism and just finishes right over Garland. Gets the and one call on this, so I'm like, awesome. This is exactly what we want to see from Josh Giddey, right off the bat, right? That's more Josh Giddey like than the entire first half of Josh Giddey that we saw. The first half of Josh Giddey was just not Josh Giddey. If we're just being dead honest about it. Okay. No, we went too far here. So then let's take this play, right? So then this next play here for Giddey is again classic Josh Giddey. This is what I want to see from him. He's going to be filling up the box score a ton this season. So he makes a decision, and off of him, his teammate, he then decides, I'm going to make sure I do this cut correctly and fill the space. Or fill the lane in a sense, right? Garland has no idea. Like, look at Garland right now. Garland has no idea where Josh Giddey is at the moment. And there we go. We get the dunk, right? So, stuff like this is more Josh Giddey like. Getting to the basket, using his size, and obviously playing a little bit more in transition. It did help, though, that the Cavs kind of sucked on the offensive end in the second half, right? Because we talked about in a pregame that if you're not going to be playing defense and making them miss shots, then how are you going to get the rebound and push the tempo if you're taking the ball out of your own basket, right? So, yeah, it absolutely does matter in terms of the defense being played well, right? Giddey airballs a 3. I go, sheesh, the Giddey experience. The next play or the play after the next, you get Zach step back airball 3. I was like, solidarity. Yeah, that Zach step back was not necessary. I don't know why Zach took that shot. I thought he had the mismatch and should have just tried to drive, and then if he gets cut off, he can step back and shoot it. But again, I'm not worried about that. The crazy thing is that I know Zach can make that shot. He airballed it though, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Okay, sorry, Rob. I'm trying to catch up on all your messages. You have a lot here. And again, if you're playing versus the opposing bench, you're more likely to miss shots and you get girl grab rebounds and get steals. He's less likely to do that versus starters, but we will see. That is also a fair point. But at the same time, though, if I'm assuming you're talking about Patrick Williams, or the Booz Ellis and P. Will difference. For P. Will, though, like, you need to get those in the starting lineup, right? You can't just be getting steals against secondary players, right? You have to be getting that production no matter who you're facing. Because one night you might be up against Kevin Durant, the next night you might be up against, who knows who, like some random person, like Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, I don't care who it is. You gotta perform at that high level. So yeah, again, I'm not saying that we need to suddenly be saying that Buzelis should start over P. Will. I'm not saying that, but, you know. I see P. Will scoring 14 and getting 6 rebounds, 3 assists in a game this year. Hopefully he's ramped up by game 1. I hope if P. Will does that like per game this year, I'll be very happy. But he's got to show that. I don't think he did that really tonight. Like he's got to show that, and I don't think he ever has shown the consistency to do that. I think we get one game of P. Will where it's like, oh yeah, he could definitely do that. The next game, I'm like, where are you? And at the end of the day, I just think it just comes down to motor. And again, DeRozan's no longer here, so you can't just be like, well, DeRozan takes all the shots. Like, I don't know what to tell people at this point. Like, DeRozan isn't here anymore. I get that LaVine is still here, but let's be honest. Let's take Zach LaVine off the floor tonight. Who's getting the shots? Like, it's going to be Kobe, it's going to be Giddey, it's going to be Vooch, it's going to be Io. Like, I see all 4 of those guys taking shots more than Patrick Williams. It would not be Patrick Williams taking those shots if we remove Zach LaVine off the floor. Like, it's just not going to be that way, right? Giddey did get his hands on the ball in deflections in the first quarter, but they did look like no one wanted to shoot it at the start of the game. That's 2 different sentences. I do think Giddey was getting his hands on the ball early on in the game. I think he had pretty active hands, and he kind of used his size to his advantage on the defensive end. At the start of the game, I mean, so Zach turned down a 3-point shot. I didn't really mind it because the defender was kind of closing out hard to him. But I think P. Will took, like, he definitely did not want to shoot one. But I think after that, like, it was just kind of like, yeah, we're going. No, actually, P. Will did shoot this one. You know what? Nah, I'm just wrong. Yeah, I think maybe the one that was not great was just the Zach LaVine. Like, he just decided not to shoot it, which ended up in this Josh Giddey 3-point shot happening instead. But I'm not too concerned about it. I swear to God though that I'm missing one with P. Will. Maybe it might have been much later in the game, honestly, and I'm not remembering it correctly. Okay, let me show you something that I was happy with though in terms of early game offense from the Bulls. Where is my? Okay, here's my video player. Okay, so I know the exact time because I wrote it down this time. Up here. Please go back. Okay. Let's talk about this possession, because this to me is a good possession from Billy, and I'm hoping that moving forward we see more of this from Billy Donovan. Or I guess maybe it's not even on him. Like, maybe he runs these types of plays and the players just don't do a good enough job. But now focus here is going to be on both LaVine and P. Will. So keep an eye on these 2 guys. I'm hoping you guys will be able to see. Yeah, you guys should be able to see that fine. So see, the focus is going to be on these 2 guys moving off ball consistently as the on ball guy and Josh Giddey, and you're gonna see a screen from Vucevic here. This other stuff's happening, right? So right here, for example, this is a down screen that Zach could have obviously taken to go up. Zach rejected it. So instead of taking the screen, he actually rejected it, and this is like an alley-oop, right? Giddey just strip missed it, unfortunately, but that's fine. But it's still good action. I like this a lot. Now, we weren't able to give Zach the ball, so we give it to P. Will, and then you're going to see P. Will give it back to Vooch. Now, off of this whole thing, right, after P. Will gets it, and they're going to throw it back out to Vooch, you're going to see another down screen here from P. Will for Zach to come up to the ball, right? So this is all happening, and look, they're still doing this off-ball action. The whole point of this idea is, let's say there is some sort of pick and roll action up here that Giddey does get a step on these guys. Look at Mobley. Mobley's not even looking at the ball at the moment, right? Mobley is all concerned about what's happening here because you can't let Zach LaVine get backdoor because he's too good of an athlete, right? But also both these guys are really good shooters at the end of the day. I mean, at least P. Will percentage wise, right? So the defense is honestly just like completely watching these 2 guys work. This is what I want to see, because if you're able to have the weak side defense be occupied, then the only guys that Giddey has to really worry about is Allen, and Mitchell. Okay, and I'm hoping to see more of this. So look, these guys are still moving. Zach kind of did like a little fake screen and just flared back out. And so because of this, right, because of all this action, we then see this, where Vooch set a screen, he rolled hard, and now Mobley's late, okay? Mobley, or I guess it's not even Mobley. I don't even know who, is this Max Strus? Actually, I don't even know who it is. Yeah, it's Max Strus. So both these guys are confused of like, okay, wait, who's the help man, right? So you're looking at, okay, P. Will, and because of all this action, like that, this is Mobley's guy, right? He's thinking, I have to come over and help. Well, Max Strus is technically the help man right now because he should be the one coming off of Zach because it's the shorter corner, and Mobley should be the one in between both guys so he can jump out to either one of these guys. And because of that off-ball action, we then see Vooch draw two. Oh, whoops! I'm sorry. I hit this. And drains it, right? This is good. Like this is great stuff overall, and I hope that we see more of that. There were some moments like this, but it wasn't consistent, I should say. So more off-ball movement like this is a good thing, and I hope that this continues moving forward with a lot of these guys. Sorry. I want to say thank you guys for tuning into the post-game stream. It means a ton. I'm happy to see a lot of you coming in and chatting with me and the others in chat. Thank you so much for the likes on the stream. Helps me out a ton as well, so I truly appreciate the support. Sorry, I just hit the mic again, my water bottle. I do apologize for that noise. Alright, let's see here. Okay, let me catch up more on chat because I know I'm behind. Congratulations, monetization. Was wondering when YouTube will pay you for your awesome analysis. Oh, it's over. I appreciate it. Yeah. I am officially. If you guys did not know, I'm officially monetized now. So, this is all you guys. Honestly, I mean, this is all because of you. I can't do this. I can't be monetized without you guys, right? So, you know, just tuning in for like 5 seconds, it honestly does mean a lot. So I truly appreciate that, Zayover, and yeah, I'm really thankful that I am officially monetized. I'm not like making a living off of this or anything, but I do get a little bit of money now off YouTube via stream or via videos. So I do appreciate it a ton. And it's all thanks to you guys. So thank you once again. Once KD decided to attack the rim and go to the basket, game changed, but was 0 to 3 to start. He didn't shoot any more threes too, so his self-awareness, hopefully Vooch takes notes. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, Vooch needs to be the same way because Vooch can't make threes right now, and yeah. You're right. Rebounds were good from Giddey, and also even after baskets, I noticed the Bulls quickly inbounding and pushing the ball. Yeah, you're definitely right, yeah. Bro's going ham over the score bug. Oh my god, bro! I hate this thing. This sucks. This whole thing, this score bug, is the worst thing in the world. I cannot believe that Chicago Sports Network was like, yeah, so like we should make something that is small in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, and sometimes even blocks the shot clock, like right here. And oh, by the way, there were so many bugs today. Like, for example, even right now you're seeing this. Like, it says the Bulls have 8 fouls. Like, that wasn't the case. Obviously, you're 8:32 into the game. Like, we're 4 minutes into the game. Like, the Bulls do not have 8 fouls. And it said the Cavs had 3 fouls to start the game, which I'm like, what the heck? There's also not really like a shot clock on here. 3:22 or whatever, right? Like, there's no shot clock here. And sometimes it pops up and sometimes it doesn't. Like, when it gets closer to the end of the shot clock. Like, a lot of times I'm like watching a possession and I'm realizing it's going long and I look for the shot clock and it's not there, or if it's on the screen, right, then this blocks the shot clock. So it's just really annoying. I hate the score bug, and I hope that Chicago Sports Network's taking notes and they get rid of the score bug immediately and change it, because this was awful. They need to get rid of this immediately. Yeah, you're right. This needs to be on the bottom. Like how every other NBA game is, you put the score bug at the bottom, please. Yeah. TJ seems to be a coach. He doesn't have crazy athleticism, but knows where to be. I agree. Yeah. Let's see. Machis is impressive for a guy that young, that long and athletic. He understands the game. He looks like he always knows what he has to do. Yeah. I'm really impressed by Buzelis, man. So here, if you guys didn't watch my video when the Bulls did draft Buzelis and like my reaction to it, so first off, I was not expecting the Bulls to draft Buzelis because I didn't think he was going to drop to number 11, like anywhere close. I thought Buzelis was like a confirmed top 5 pick. Then we kind of saw him dropping a little bit, but still I was like, he's not going to get to the Bulls. So I didn't really look too much into him before the draft started. And then suddenly he's with the Bulls, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta get to know him. But because I wasn't really looking too much into him, like I wasn't that high on him overall. But my main concern for Buzelis was that I thought Buzelis is gonna, like, he has the potential to turn into a guy that is like a jack of all trades, that does a little bit of everything, but he doesn't excel at one thing, right? Like, he can dribble the ball a little bit, but he's not the best. He can pass it a little bit, but he's not the best. He can, drive hard to the basket sometimes, but he's not consistent with it. He can shoot the 3-ball some nights, not shoot it great other nights. That was my main concern with Buzelis. The one thing that I did say, though, is like, I think the biggest thing for him that he has already is that he is a ball hawk, and he will be blocking shots left and right, no matter what position he's going to be playing, because his timing with when it comes to shots going up is really good. That is like the one thing I was like confirmed, like, oh, he's not going to be like average at blocking shots. He is going to be an absolute shot blocker and shot like changer, I should say, as well, because his length and athleticism and timing is so good. And we saw some of that tonight. The thing that I was just more impressed with tonight, though, is that like he didn't seem to really need the ball tonight to really be effective. Like, he seemed to understand where to be. Defensively, he guarded guards, which is one of my main concerns about him, is that he isn't able to guard the perimeter players too consistently. But then we also saw him guarding bigger guys like Jared Allen and doing like an okay job at it. So with Buzelis, I'm overall really impressed for a rookie. He obviously still needs to fill out, and he needs to get bigger and stronger, which, again, he's 19. I'm not concerned about that. But it's a good stepping stone. I'm hoping we see more of it, hopefully. I have a lot of friends who are Aussies, and they're calling the scoreboard score bug all the time. Guilty as charged. Oh, I see. Wait, interesting. Wait, so do Australians... Wait, is score bug an Australian thing? Wait, I'm so confused. I'm so sorry. Okay, maybe I don't get an answer to that. I've always called it score bug. This thing, like, I've always called this the score bug. I can also see scoreboard, but I've always called this score bug. Am I the incorrect one here? Being in Chicago area and calling this score bug? I've only heard them calling it score bug, so I can't give you a definite answer. Oh, okay. Others, okay, if you're in the Chicago area, what do you call this? Like, what do you call this thing? Because I've always called this a score bug. I've never called it a scoreboard, really, but I guess I've heard some people say that, but I've always called this score bug. That's so interesting to me. Hold on. Let me pull up a tweet, because I did see someone tweet about it. God, I hate Twitter so badly. This is I cannot stand Twitter. Okay, interesting. So I honestly don't know. Drew Stevens called it score ticker, so maybe I'm wrong. All right, I guess I'm wrong. But hold on, he then posted a bunch of pictures, and if this would load, it would be a good thing. Okay, so this person said score graphic. So Bull Central YouTube said score graphic. This person said score bug, so I don't know. interesting. All right, learn something new every day, I guess. Okay, sorry, hold on. How about the platoon system with this team to lighten the load on vets, give playing time to younger talent, and always be throwing fresh legs onto the floor to maintain high tempo and defensive energy? I think the Bulls kind of showed that tonight, honestly, Thomas. Like, I think that was kind of what they did. Like, we saw a lot of, like, guys coming in and out. Like, we saw, like, you know, some guys on the bench for, like, 2 or 3 minutes and coming right back in. So, I think the Bulls were doing that really good tonight, honestly. If that's Billy's idea, yeah, I'm all for it, honestly. Especially if it's the young guys. If you guys aren't aware, like, something that was kind of shocking to me today was this. This was something that I was shocked about. Everyone was available tonight besides Lonzo Ball, but Javon Carter and Torrey Craig did not play a single minute tonight. So, I think this is something that's kind of shocking. Like, I thought for sure Torrey Craig was going to get minutes tonight, but we didn't see him at all. Javon Carter kind of makes sense because he didn't really play well last year, and he was kind of out of the rotation for a while. But Torrey Craig obviously was injured for most of last year, but when he was healthy, he played. So, yeah, like, it's interesting just to see this because, like, Donovan and AK have both said, like, hey, like, we're not just gonna give the young guys minutes just because. We're gonna make sure that the vets get their minutes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, immediate day. But yet they go against that completely and say, yeah, no minutes for Javon Carter and Torrey Craig tonight, which is just like, what? Was not expecting that whatsoever. But if this is going to be the way that it's going to work, I'm happy because I don't think that these guys need minutes at all. I think if there is a case for one of these guys, it is for Torrey Craig. I think Torrey Craig, you can argue that he deserves some minutes because he is still a good defender at the end of the day. But I don't know, man. Like, I won't be shocked if, like, before the season starts, like, you know, end of training camp, or sorry, end of preseason, and before the season starts, that the Bulls, like, you know, buy out Torrey Craig or something. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. He's on a minimum contract anyway, so might as well just kind of let him go and see what he can go and find, because he's not going to get minutes here. But the problem is that there are some guys in free agency currently right now that I think should be on the team, but they're not on the team. So, I don't know if Torrey Craig's gonna be able to find a team, honestly. So we'll see what's gonna happen there. Is there a change in officiating this season? I swear there have been more contact allowed this preseason more than last season. I don't know, honestly. That's honestly a good question. I thought that there were some moments that Levine was fouled. No call. But if there is a change in officiating to allow more contact, I'm kind of for it. But I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Last year, Billy played Vooch the first 8-9 minutes every half, then drilled like 7 minutes, which would finish the last 8. That's also why the pace was slow besides Lamar. I get what you guys are saying with Platoon, because like Vooch also didn't finish the half. So yeah, I'd be all for it, honestly, where you kind of subbing guys in and out pretty quickly. That's cool. Montes is ready. Blessed up. Is that Blessed Up Shay? I hope I'm saying that right. I think Buzos is ready day one to just be on the team and in the rotation. Yeah. This is dope. I love the Bulls. I appreciate it. Get up, Tay, if I'm reading that correctly. You're still extremely underrated, which sucks big time because you're putting work and effort. We need to start liking it harder. And leaving a couple comments in conversation for this algorithm. I appreciate it, Box. Yeah. Box, I know you've been with me for a while. Like you were here before. I mean, you saw me make one video that like kind of got the algorithm to hit 10K. So yeah, like I know you've been here with me for a long time now. Compared to some of the other people in the community, but yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked at how much of this community's kind of already grown. I won't lie. Like I wasn't expecting it to be this good already. The fact that, like, you know, like I always have people at Postgame streams no matter what. My videos are at least getting like 100 views a video, which is so shocking to me. But either way though, like I sincerely appreciate it. Yeah, like so like I know that there's some new people to like Postgame streams because like I know that the channel has grown this off season too. But this channel was made because I've talked to my friends, I've talked to family members, like, I see the game kind of like a little bit differently than I guess like a casual viewer in a sense. And I'm not, that's not me saying like, oh, I'm better or anything. I'm not saying that, but like I've explained to people like, oh, I watch things like all the time where I watch what's happening off ball. I don't always watch the game, or I always don't watch the player with the ball in their hands. Like a lot of the time, honestly, when I'm watching a half-court possession, I'm watching what's happening on the weak side. I'm always just looking at stuff and catching my eye. So that's like a major part of it. But then the other part of this channel, which I think a lot of people have kind of seen, is the in-depth stuff when it comes to like analysis for like salary cap stuff and making trades, etc. Like this type of stuff here is what I really like too. This type of stuff is like, I mean, like NBA 2K does their best to try to replicate like, oh, here are all the rules for an NBA trade, etc. They're not perfect, but like this is kind of the stuff that's like always going through my head. I like a 24/7 basis. Like, I'm thinking of all this like consistently. So yeah, I hope to just bring this to you guys. Like, I'm aware that there's a lot of people that don't like this stuff. Like, if I start talking about salary cap and like trades of why this trade cannot happen and why this trade can happen, like I know people are gonna get bored to death immediately. But for me, this is like the stuff that I love. Like I love digging into this type of stuff and thinking about like what sort of trades can work. What like the I won't lie though, the new CBA is crazy and there's so many rules to it that it hurts my head. But I have taken the time to kind of read into it more, and it's not, I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but if you lay out the rule sheet in front of me, I can probably get to a conclusion. So for example, just to kind of give you an example of this all, like if we're talking about this, if you're not aware, the last roster spot, like the last roster spot is up for grabs for the Bulls this preseason. So Bitsum is on a non-guaranteed contract. Some of his money was guaranteed like a couple of weeks ago for Bitsum, or maybe a week ago. Like some of the money was guaranteed, but he could get waived, and it doesn't really count a lot against the salary cap. For the Bulls this year, the luxury tax threshold is, sorry, not this isn't it. The tax threshold here, it's 170 million, or about 170 million. We know the Bulls as a Jerry Reinsdorf owned organization, which I hate Jerry, but his team's never going to the tax. So the Bulls only have 4.7 million dollars before they reach the tax, basically. But if you're wondering, like, oh, what can the Bulls potentially do? Like, they could potentially, and this actually might be more of like a legitimate thing because of what we saw today, but like they could waive Javon Carter and keep Bitsum, but then also keep Taylor Horton Tucker, and they would still be under the luxury tax. Like, that's stuff that like I can just like go like this about it, right? And I could talk about it for hours, honestly. So yeah, like if you like this sort of stuff, then I hope you enjoy your time here, because this is the stuff that I can really dig deep into. And like this isn't even bar talk in a sense. Like this is more like, oh, we're truly like analyzing the money and the assets and all the CBA rules, if you want to get into all that. So yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support a lot. More than welcome. I will always support. Looking forward to your videos. It's that time. Yeah, I promise you guys, because now that I'm actually more healthy, if you guys aren't aware, the reason why I couldn't like finish last year in terms of post game or even make videos, I had a severe infection going on that was not going away. But yeah, now that I'm like really healthy again, like I'm really looking forward to getting back to making videos again. I can't guarantee every week because life happens, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to making videos. Like even after just this one preseason game, I can make a probably 10-minute video of what Josh Giddey did well tonight and what he did pretty awful tonight, and what I'm hoping to see more of. And luckily for me, I do have I do have this set up where I do have the entire game recorded once the game ends. I still haven't gone into that rant, and I'll get to it soon, but let me just tell you, man, to be able to have this ready to go, like, immediately after the game ends, this was an absolute, like, I mean, I try not to swear too much on this channel, but it was an absolute bleep show. It was horrible just to try to get this all done. I'm happy to bring it to you guys. I'm hoping to do more. Let's see. His ball handling for his size is kind of impressive, to be honest. His luck and defensively help defense on ball. Yeah. You don't always have to respond to all my comments. Rob, I try to get to everything I can. I try not to leave any... I try to respond to every comment because I don't want people feeling like they're left out. I know I missed some, and I'm not perfect, but yeah, I will try to respond to every comment I can. Well, I'm in Chicago for a month, and that was only so I could watch some Bulls games back in 2012. I watched live Rose killing the Bucks in Milwaukee with that step back, long two on Brandon Jennings. Oh man, that was a classic. Yeah, D-Rose step back, and Stacey King calling him the Windy City Assassin. Yeah. Fortunately, no more of that. And if you are interested in what I have my thoughts about D-Rose, I did in my previous stream, for not today, but for Media Day, I did talk about D-Rose. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Derrick Rose, you can go ahead and listen to that stream, honestly, because I talked a lot, and I can maybe talk about it a little bit more, because the whole discussion about him is like the Hall of Fame thing, and honestly it's a good discussion. Which I still don't know. Like, I don't know if Derrick is if Rose will ever be in the Hall of Fame, but I would hope he is, but it's a hard case. It's a really hard case for Derrick. The lesson is that, yeah, so you're giving us quality content, great insight, conversation, and we devour it. It's pretty simple, to be honest. Yeah, I appreciate it, Box. Yeah. Stop doubting yourself. You're a family. We was there when you were sick, and we're still rocking with you. Yeah, honestly, like, the fact that I was able to, like, take, like, all of March and, like, a good chunk of February off of post-game streams, yeah, and you guys still come back and are still liking the videos, it means a lot to me, honestly. Yeah, my health has been not great. I was getting sick so much last year, and even this year has not exactly been amazing, but I've been better this year. I should say more so the second half of the year, so I'm hoping just to be healthier, honestly. Hold on, sorry. I like the kind of sports talk. Yeah, I'm glad to see more people like this kind of sports talk, because I won't lie, when the people that I guess I'm surrounded by, like, don't exactly like this type of sports talk all the time, and I get it, like, it can get a lot, it can get overwhelming, but yeah, I built a community that I think really likes this type of sports talk, and I'm glad. I watched like 13 to 14 games during that about month stay, and 8 of them featured D-Rose, the Windy City Assassin, so it was worth every single penny. Oh, absolutely. That's definitely worth the money, for sure. Sam, Rose is the easiest case because the Hall is so easy to get in. The question is rather, is he first ballot? So, you say that the Hall of Fame is easy to get in. Like, my only concern about that is just that we're getting to the point now where we have a lot of guys that are up for Hall of Fame. Like when Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Kobe Bryant all retired at the same time, and they were all eligible to be in the Hall of Fame in the same year, like that was a year where suddenly that there's just less Hall of Fame. Like, those guys are obviously first ballot Hall of Famers. They have to get into the Hall of Fame. And so, for example, someone like Chris Webber, I think Chris Webber deserved to be in the Hall of Fame a long time ago, but it took up until 2021. Now, there is this guy, though, that was just recently inducted into the Hall of Fame that you could say, like, hey, like, I mean, Tim Hardaway didn't, like, necessarily do anything, like, spectacular, but I look at this still, though, and I'm like, hey, for example, let's just talk about, like, in comparison to Rose, okay? First off, I mean, look, Tim Hardaway was obviously a great player in his time. Now, if you're not aware, I'm only 23, so, like, I didn't watch Tim Hardaway in his prime years or anything, but I mean, his numbers are, like, pretty staggering when you kind of look at his, like, early career, and then even a little bit part of his early 30s. Like, I mean, this dude was in, like, some MVP ballots. He was All NBA 5 times, right? So like, yeah, like he just probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at the end of the day for what he accomplished in his time in the NBA, and these are pretty good stats in over, well, close to 900 games. If you're not aware though, like there's this guy that was just recently inducted that I look at, and you know, some people have their thoughts on this, but like Tony Parker, you know, is a 4-time champion, he's a 6-time All-Star, and also as a Finals MVP, he obviously deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But like my point is this though, it's like we're getting to the point where there's just going to be a lot of guys that are like retiring, and it's going to be harder and harder for guys to get into the Hall of Fame, because there's all these guys that played really well that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So for Rose, for example, I think the biggest, like the best comparison for Rose for like why he should be a Hall of Famer is this, and I didn't think about this in my last stream, okay? But Bob McAdoo, okay, he had that MVP year like early in his career, right? Obviously he put up much staggering, like bigger numbers than Derrick Rose did, but also he played in the 70s. But Bob McAdoo went and like played, like he had this like historic MVP so early on in his career. But then, you know, he you know, still continued to put up like amazing points, but then he didn't really do much, and he didn't win his championship until much later, right? Or 2 championships, sorry. So, you know, Bob McAdoo went to the bench, he was with the Lakers, he was 6-man, etc. But like he has these years of like, man, these are like really dominant numbers. For Derrick Rose, in my opinion, he will not be first ballot Hall of Fame. It's not something that's gonna be in his favor, in my opinion. But I do think that he'll have a good shot at, or maybe not good, but at least a decent shot in the future, where it's like he will get in eventually. He won't be first ballot, but he'll get in it eventually. The MVP year obviously is the biggest thing. He unfortunately did not like get close to winning a championship. I mean, obviously he made the Eastern Conference Finals, but man, it's rough. Like it's just you kind of look at just this, like his years 2 through 4. You're like, man, these are great numbers, and I'm aware of like, you know, not as many games played this year, but also lockout. It's just kind of hard to look at. I'd be like, well, we can only look at this and be like, yeah, Hall of Famer, when it's really not like all of that in comparison to other guards. So I hope he gets in. It's not gonna be first ballot. I'm aware that he'd be the first MVP to never make it in if he doesn't make it in, but he should like have a good shot of making it in eventually. It's just gonna be tough. Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping, man. We'll see. Just for being the youngest MVP, he should be in the Hall of Fame conversations. He will get in there sooner or later. Maybe not first ballot, but he's gonna get it there. Yeah, he just won't be first ballot because of like the recent other players that have also retired, right? I want to ask who would realistically want Zach LaVine's skill set. I don't really know, honestly. I'm gonna have to like really it's hard for me to tell because of, you know, NBA offseason changes and everything, but the one team that keeps popping up in my head is the Milwaukee Bucks. I know some people have thrown around like the Chris Middleton for LaVine trade. That doesn't necessarily help the Bulls really, besides getting out of the contract, but maybe that's an idea. I'll have to look into it more. Chris Webber is also the first guy I looked up to compare. Oh, really? Yeah. Like, so look, I know Chris Webber, like a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on Chris Webber, but like, and again, I didn't watch Chris Webber in his prime, but I'm aware of NBA history, and Chris Webber, like, to me, it's just like, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and the fact that it took him until 2021 for him to be inducted to the Hall of Fame is just insane to me. I mean, we're talking Rookie of the Year to then this guy's in MVP conversations for a long time in Sacramento. Leads the Sacramento team. He's a 5-time All-NBA. Like, I don't know what else you need. And he had a really good career, and it just was like, why did this take forever? The one thing against Derek, obviously, is just longevity. right? Like, if you're looking at only peak, you're like, yeah, Derrick is like one of the best players of all time. Like, MVP Derrick Rose is something special, and honestly, I don't think we ever really saw his peak because he was only 22 when he won his MVP. But the conversation then goes to like longevity, and I do think that unfortunately longevity is a conversation when it comes to this sort of stuff, because if you really think about it, there's this other guy that had a pretty stellar year one year, right? Now he didn't go on to play that many more years, but this guy here was pretty good for his early portion of his career, right? He then obviously did not play for that much longer after, but it's kind of just like my point is like, yeah, like this dude played like 350 less games than Derrick Rose played, but like if you're just looking only at Rose's like first 4 years and being like, okay, this is why he should be in the Hall of Fame, then I'm like, well, Brandon Roy had a really good first like 4 or 5 years, and you know, he's obviously not a Hall of Famer, and he has the same amount of All-Stars as Derrick Rose, as well as more All-NBA teams. So it's hard. It's just kind of hard to kind of look at it, right? Because he also has all the narratives around him. He's almost solo carried the team to an East Conference Finals. He was, and still the youngest MVP ever. Injuries killed him. Same thing with Bill Walton minus the college accolades. But the thing is, though, is that the college accolades do matter, right? But also with Bill Walton, like, he went on to win a ring with the Celtics. Like, the ring helps at the end of the day. So yeah. Or multiple rings, I should say. Lakers ring helps Bob's case. Yeah, like, it's the same. Like, the rings do help the conversation at the end of the day. Because that's what a lot of voters look at. Bulls have been irrelevant since 1998, and until the time Rose got drafted. Rose gave Chicago hope, and after he got sidetracked with injuries, he basically became irrelevant once again. Okay, let me make this clear. Okay, just because I'm saying that Rose might not make the Hall of Fame does not mean that I think Derrick is like, in terms of Chicago, like Derrick Rose is always a legend in Chicago. He will always be a legend, and he, like, if the Rhinestones don't retire as number one, then I'm gonna seriously throw a fit. Number one should absolutely be retired into the rafters, and I don't care who says anything about that. The Rhinesters are stupid, though. The Rhinesters might not actually do it. But just because your number's up in the rafters does not mean, like, oh, yeah, you're Hall of Fame easily. Just saying. I know, Seawell wasn't really that good. Really? Say, like, you're gonna tell me that Chris Webber in his Sacramento days was not good? Like, you watch the Heat versus Bulls Eastern Conference Finals. The whole Heat team was defending Rose. He was the only guy schemed up to stop LeBron, Wade, maybe a challenge for changing on. Oh, I know that LeBron had to go on Derrick in that series. Yeah. At his best, he was the third best power forward. Is that, I don't know what that means. Does that say ITL? That's because Dirk didn't break out. But okay, just because that it's like, yeah, this guy is the third best power forward doesn't mean that, oh yeah, he wasn't that good of a player. Like, that's like saying, like, right now, like, okay, you have Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and all the other great point guards in the league. But just because they're number 3, like, that means that they're not the greatest point, like, they're not that great. Like, I don't think that really necessarily translates. And I think back in the day, because it's like, back in the day, like, the big man was so, like, such a key figure. Like, that's like saying, like, okay, you have Olajuwon, and you have David Robinson and Patrick Ewing, and yet because the third one is the third guy, that they're not that good. Like, that's hard to say. They're all Hall of Famers at the end of the day. Like, I don't care who you pick. Like, between, like, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and Hakeem Olajuwon, they're all Hall of Famers. Like, that doesn't mean that just because the third one is like Patrick Ewing, like, he's not that great of a player. Okay, sorry. We got a little sidetracked. I'm sorry. Okay. I want to show a few more things in terms of film breakdown, and then let's see here. I want to talk a little bit of maybe some roster construction stuff. Let's see here. Sorry, where's my video? Okay, here we go. Nope, that's not it. All right, here we go. Here's my video. Okay. I want to go to a play where I want to show you why I think Buzelis can be a really good rim protector, but also like a really hyper flexible defender, I should say. I forget that he checked in the second quarter today. He did not play in the first quarter. That's important, Duncan. Okay. I'm just gonna do this just to help me. I did not write this down. I do apologize. 7:40 in the second quarter. Perfect. So, oh, perfect. We're almost there. So let me show you why I think Buzelis is going to be like pretty like hyper flexible in terms of being a good defender. And this is the reason why I say he's more of an interior defender right now than he is a on-ball defender or like point of attack defender. Okay. I like this could change. Like, you know, people have already kind of talked about Andre Kirilenko, for example. This could change, obviously, and we saw us be extremely excited about him because if he can do that consistently, then oh yeah, like I'm like comfortable on throwing him on pretty much anybody. For now, though, I think like just because I'll show you a couple of moments a little bit later in the game here, but I don't really want him like running around on the perimeter trying to rotate to guys. I want him more like in the paint where I know that he can be in position to come over and help defend. Because if I have him, for example, playing the small forward position, I know that he's going to have to rotate a lot on defensive rotations, and I just think that takes him from being like that, like takes away his impact as a player. If instead, though, I can have him mostly be anchoring the paint and using his length and athleticism to change shots or block shots and be a rim protector, then I know I'm getting the most impact out of Buzelis. So that's the reason why I think he's mostly going to play the 4. I know Stacey King was like, yo, I think he can play the 3, which, you know, fine. But for now, I just think he's going to be like a good hybrid 4. And I won't lie, I won't be shocked if he does, if we actually do see some 5 out of him. Not saying that he should be, you know, guarding Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid. Obviously, he should not be doing that. But if, let's say, for example, the opposing team goes like with a really small lineup out there, and I think running Buzelis at the 5 would not be a horrible thing. And even tonight, for example, we saw him take the challenge against Jarrett Allen. Allen obviously he's an all-star before. He is a very good shot blocker. He's a very good rebounder. He's a big guy, right? So again, we're not going to have Buzelis guarding the all NBA centers of, you know, Embiid and Jokic, and he should not be guarding Wembanyama either. But I just think that this is a possibility with Buzelis, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if Buzelis can like continue doing what we saw tonight. You know, like we kind of said with P-Will, it's one thing to do it one night, but he needs to just kind of build on this and just be consistent with his impact moving forward. So I'm happy with this. Now, let me show you an example where I wasn't, like, when it comes to Buzelis, I'm a little bit more concerned. And the reason why I'm like concerned about him, like in the, like out on the perimeter, I guess. Sorry. Let's see. I actually think it was right here. Let me just pull this up really quickly. We're gonna go 10:58 into the. Also, let me know, guys. Like, if sorry, hold on. I want to look at my OBS for just a second. The quality for this like the quality for this screen, right? Like for this video, it looks good, right? Because it might just be my monitor, but it looks kind of weird on my screen. But like this looks good quality to you guys. It should look good quality. I mean, I record everything in 1080p and everything, so I can also just watch back the VOD. I might just do that, honestly. Let me see here. Okay, so let me just show you why I'm a little bit concerned about Buzelis like being out on the perimeter all the time. Like, Okay, so I remember this play. Okay, so I just think that it just takes away his impact as a player. Like I want to see this man in the interior blocking shots, like making guys scared to come into the paint, because I really do think that when people see him for the first time and they get blocked by his length, like they're gonna be scared coming after him. And they're gonna really have to rethink, like, okay, Buzelis is over here on the weak side help defense. Do I come in and actually challenge him or not? I think for now, like, they're gonna probably start going after his chest because he's not that strong, and they're gonna try to get him, you know, off balance, in using their strength against his, and making sure that he isn't able to necessarily have that much verticality and go right at him. But as he gets bigger and stronger, I think that that's not gonna be that much of an issue, and we're gonna see him just going straight up is just going to affect so many shots at the basket. And I just hope to see more of it. So, Buzelis, man, I'm just like, again, when the Bulls first drafted him, I wasn't that high in him because I didn't really watch too much film on him. But from his time in the G League and seeing how comfortable he was with the basketball and how he was able to really like create some of his own looks. But the other thing that I was so happy about with Buzelis was, specifically in Summer League, was that he was not scared to go ahead and shoot the 3-ball when it was open. And we saw it tonight too, where like he misses 2 threes, but he was willing to shoot that 3-ball no matter what. And he wasn't a part of the catch and think club like I say, you know, Patrick Williams is in and what Alex Caruso was in, right? That sort of stuff for Buzelis is going to be the most important stuff moving forward. But like I've said it before, though, I don't want him really focusing too much on like, can I create my own shot? Can I use a pick and roll effectively? I just want him to just kind of worry about this year of being like, be good on defense, and if I get an open 3-point shot, I take it, right? That's what I really want him to really focus on this year. If he does that, that's like a good foundation to just kind of work off of, and we move forward with it. So I'm hoping that this is like what we saw tonight is just like a building step for him, and we see more of it moving forward. And no matter what lineup he's in, and no matter who he's kind of guarding out there. So just really happy overall with what I saw from him. And again, I know I kind of opened up the stream talking about Patrick Williams and like, man, P. Will, like, where are you at? Like, this man right here is coming after, like, he is willing to come after your job right now, because you're not solidified as the starter, even though you got paid. So yeah, I'm just, if Buzelis is going to continue to play like this, then like it's going to at least put pressure on P. Will that he has to perform. That at the end of the day, that's only a good thing. Yeah, let's see, did my chat die? I'm trying to make sure. I don't know if Box is still here. If you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up in the chat? I want to make sure that my chat just didn't die suddenly, because it hasn't moved in like 20 minutes. I don't want to reload. Give me just a second here. Okay, no, we're all good. Appreciate it, Box. All right. I did want to go ahead and yeah, okay, Noel's question. Okay. Last thing I just want to say is this. Jalen Smith I liked what I saw for Jalen Smith tonight. Let me go ahead and pull up the Io DeSumo alley-oop play with him, which was really cool to watch. Now this was definitely first quarter. Let me go ahead and show that. There we go. So it's 4:58. So this play here for the Bulls is also a pretty solid play, which, again, well, I want to just see more of this. Defense will always be a problem, so don't expect anything different when it comes to the defense with this Bulls team. The defense is going to suck. Let me see here. Look at this. This is currently right now, you got 4 guys in the... You have all 5 guys here for the Bulls in the front court, and you have 2 Cleveland guys. So yeah, it's partially just bad IQ, But to me, though, it's like Kobe needs to find a way to slow down this ball. And I just don't think Kobe has the skill set to like do such a thing. And it's just because of his size and Kobe like is a bigger guard in terms of height, but he's like pretty skinny. He doesn't have the biggest wingspan. So yeah, defensively, this team is going to have so many issues that I don't even know how much you want to spend time on this, because I honestly just want to show the good, because that's going to give us hope in the future of like, wow, this player has good instincts defensively, or this player has good length defensively, like Buzelis, for example. Like, I think Buzelis defensively is going to be like an absolute weapon. But it's stuff like this that I'm looking at, and I'm just like, is this even worth breaking down? Like, it's just bad IQ, not good defenders on the court. Guys that don't have the skill set to be a good defender on the court, etc. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll see how much I break down the defense this year, but I just think that this year is going to be so treacherous defensively that it's not even worth breaking down. You're close to Donovan Mitchell. Stay on him. I like what P. Will did here. I hit. So yeah, I made a tweet earlier too. That kind of just like summed up everything for me in terms of what I think of the Bulls defense, which is that Mitchell and Mobley pretty much got anything they wanted tonight. And it's what I said in this way. Like, I don't care who's out there. Like, we saw Levine try to guard Mitchell, didn't really work out too well. We saw Ayo DeSumo try to guard Mitchell, and then Ayo got a steal early on, but even then Mitchell was still kind of wrecking him. And again, it's not necessarily like Ayo's fault. It's just that the rest of the team defensively is just so gone. Like, they just don't have any sort of recollection of how to play defense. Like, I know Josh Giddey had 2 blocks tonight, but like even that wasn't too impressive to me. It was just kind of like good hands in a weird situation. So yeah, defensively, it's just going to be an absolute tragedy to watch this year. I think that this Bulls team like easily loses this game if the Cavs like actually continue to try. And obviously they didn't keep their starters out there for much longer in the second half, which no one should. So yeah, I know some people are going to be like, wow, the Bulls won tonight. Look at this. We're going to be better than we think. No, we're not. It's going to be a rough year, I think, coming in. So even though it's a rough year, I'm excited for this year because there is change, and I'm just hoping that we see at least some good development from these younger guys. I think Kobe and Ayo are on a really good pace right now for what we saw from this first game, right? I think both of them played very much to their strengths, and they looked like they improved from last year. I think Kobe's speed and finishing looked really good today, and then Ayo's 3-point shooting just looked really good. So we just work on that, then we're gonna be fine. And we'll have stuff to watch. But man, almighty, if no one really develops this year, like out of the young guys, like let's say like Julian Phillips doesn't really do anything, and none of the other guys that we're talking about a lot like really kind of take a jump in a sense. Like Kobe and Ayo, they may not actually be able to take that massive of a jump because of their roles, and obviously Levine being back and Giddey being added to the roster. But like, if P. Will doesn't take a jump this year, and Buzelis doesn't have like that great of a rookie year, Jalen Smith isn't that great or whatever, like, oh my god, it's gonna be a horrible season to watch. But I think that some of those guys like have some like legit possibility to make like a serious jump. And I'm hoping that we do see it from the team this year. I want to show you one more play of why I think Jalen Smith's going to be pretty good for this team. And let's see here. I think after this, I'm going to call it a stream. I think it was a good overall first post-game stream tonight for the Bulls' return to basketball. But let's see. I swear to God, it was in the second half. Okay, it was probably here then, if I'm not mistaken. Let me show you 145, I think, in the second. Yeah, 145. Oh yeah, so one thing also to take note of tonight, while Giddey is supposed to be kind of the guy running the engine of the car, right? The thing that I'm happy to see from the Bulls is that it didn't necessarily really matter. Like, whoever was the closest guard, they just kind of gave it to. Or if, let's say, the guard got the rebound, they just took it up themselves. That's good. Because I do think that helps pick up the tempo a little bit faster, where the guy doesn't have to look for a specific person to give the ball to. They just like, all right, I got the rebounder out there. Like, Dean Wade really isn't much of a center. But this is where I think Jalen Smith's going to really thrive. Because the biggest thing out of all this, right, which we don't really talk about, and like, he's already here. This is good. So doing more of this is going to help the Bulls play faster and get more points in the paint, because having that threat inside immediately is going to lead to more things like this and getting to the free throw line. So this is stuff of the reason why I really like Jalen Smith, because not only is he, like, his numbers last year in terms of efficiency were off the charts, especially for like an undersized big man. Like, he's not supposed to have these good of numbers, and he's shooting 3-point shots like a ton last year. Or I guess not a ton, but he shot like a good amount of threes last year. But to, 59% from the field, 42% from three, like, that's really good. And so he does that because he knows how to get his efficient shots. So he runs the floor hard and makes sure he gets in good position to seal his man. And he will be getting those types of looks if he continues to do that. So I'm hoping that we just are really going to be doing well in terms of that, especially with Jalen Smith on the floor, just getting out and running. Seeing some highlights, Matas wants to win every game. He has that Bird mentality. He'll be develop a Bird type game. Hey man, if Buzelis becomes the next Larry Bird, I'll be the happiest person in the world. I don't know if he's ever going to be that, but I'm excited about him. I'm more excited about him now than I was on draft night. And I'm more excited about him now than I was after watching his good summer league games. So I'm really happy about this with Buzelis, and I'm hoping that he continues to do well moving forward. But yeah, the more I watch, the more I love the Matas pick. I do think the Bulls kind of lucked into it a little bit, but yeah, it seems like a good pick so far. Again, it's early. We'll see. Bulls were running a lot last year. They're just looking for the same this season. Woodage, are you, I don't know if you're new or not. Last year, I would argue the Bulls did not really run that much last year. Let me show you the stats why I don't think they ran that much last year. The Bulls really didn't run a lot last year. Not trying to pick on you or anything, but when I hear that, when some people tell me like, well, the Bulls really didn't do anything different, like, I don't really know what to tell you, but in terms of pace, which again, you can argue that pace isn't really a stat to kind of look at, but like in terms of pace, the Bulls were 28th last year in terms of pace. They didn't really run last year. The Bulls really were one of the slowest teams ever last year. The only team slower were the Miami Heat, who are absolute just dogfighters, and the New York Knicks, who are under Tom Thibodeau, who runs a very slow offense, and runs a grit and grind defense. So I don't know. I disagree. I really don't think the Bulls really played fast at all last year. I think they were one of the slowest teams in the world. To see tonight where the Bulls put up 23 3-point attempts in the first half, 26 paint points, a lot of points off turnovers early on. While yes, they sucked in terms of the field goal percentage, it's just the way that I like to see them play. And seeing the way that they played early on today was a good thing. And I hope that these sort of numbers I'm going to pull up in here just a second, this is good. 23 threes attempted, 26 points in the paint in a half, 13 points off turnovers, 11 fast break points in a half. That's good. Continue to do that. That's going to help push the pace of this team. But just saying right now, this is a very anti-Bulls half from last year. The Bulls did not do this last year whatsoever. Like I said, they were one of the slowest teams in the world last year. And it made me upset. It truly did. So not trying to call you out or anything, but I just have to disagree with you, honestly. I think the Bulls were really slow last year. Yeah. Jalen Smith's per 36 rebounding looks sweet too. Yeah, he does. Jalen Smith had 10 rebounds tonight. And I do think also, just to remind everybody, he did play some power forward with the Pacers, so like he wasn't always the biggest guy out there, so that kind of hurt his rebounding just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he had 10 rebounds in 17 minutes tonight. Like that's fantastic from Jalen Smith. So yeah. Honestly, can't be running a lot with DeMar playing 38 minutes game. Yeah, you're right. But it was just also the Bulls' identity. Like, it wasn't just DeMar. Like, it was everybody not playing fast. The motion handoff Kings are in for a surprise. They think DeMar is going to seamlessly fit into their game, playing off the ball, moving nonstop, etc. I will say I'm interested to see how the Kings do. I will say that. I think the good news for DeMar is that it's not like the Kings were like a great team last year. They had to fight their way into the play-in. They obviously then got into the playoffs via the play-in, I think, if I remember correctly. Now I'm doubting myself again. But like, it wasn't like they were like the 3 seed when they lost to the Warriors that year. They were, you know, they didn't exactly have the greatest year. So that's like the good news for DeRozan, where it's like if you increase off of that, like you're gonna be like, well, DeRozan helped, right? The one thing that the Kings should absolutely be doing is that they should be closing games. If it's a close game, and when the game actually does slow down, when it's like crunch time, because the game just slows down in crunch time, they should be closing out games easily. I mean, you have De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan out there. Those two guys should be carrying you in the last 5 minutes of a game if it's like a close game. So if the Kings just keep it close through the first 42 minutes or whatever, they'll be fine, I think. But the big question is, can you keep it close for 42 minutes when you have Sabonis and DeRozan, two guys that are not three-point shooters in the starting lineup, as well as De'Aaron Fox, who really didn't, he really did increase his three-point percentage in takes last year. But, you know, Fox is more of a slasher and, you know, speedy guy, right? But, I mean, he did shoot a career high in three-point attempts as well as, like, a career high in percentage besides his sophomore year. So we'll see if that continues. The only sack is he's one of the greatest guys you can have in the locker room helping the young guys. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think DeRozan, like I said, DeRozan's a first ballot Hall of Famer easily. Yeah, I think at the end of the day with DeRozan, like, his play style, it is unfortunately just so anti what the NBA is today. But for what he has done so consistently, I mean, and what he has done for the young guys, like, yeah, like, this guy is just, he's an absolute class dude. And, you know, when he did leave, it was a sad day for the Bulls, but I wish him nothing but the best. Yeah. Excuse me. All right. So, looking ahead here, oh, here it is. Sorry, I was looking for my gum wrapper. All right, got that out of my mouth now. All right. So, looking ahead here, so for the Bulls, it's we don't play again until I think Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and check that. Let's see here. Thursday. No, wait. Do we play Saturday actually? Also, wait, what the? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm a little annoyed with how this is. Okay, no, we don't play till Saturday. Okay, so the next Bulls game is gonna be at home at the United Center. It's gonna be against the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant. We'll see if he does play. He rolled his ankle, unfortunately. So we're gonna see if he is available to play, but. Kind of just going off of this game, right? So the Bulls in the end of this, in general, hold on, let me pull this back up here. Or here, I'll just go to this for you guys. So, the Bulls took 43s in this game. Okay, so obviously the past couple of years, the Bulls have been hovering around 30 or less threes per game. So to see 43s go up, more importantly, 23 threes in the first half, that's good. The Bulls had a lot of points in the paint. In general, I need to go back to this here. Sorry. So, points in the paint, the Bulls had 68. Again, they had 26 at halftime, which is the more important number. So, either way, though, it's like you're on pace for 52 points in the paint. That was more than what the Bulls were on pace for last year per game. For next game, when we're going to see the stars play a little bit more, obviously, and maybe we'll see Lonzo play for in that one, which I doubt it. I'm gonna guess we don't see Lonzo until the last preseason game, honestly. But for the next game, the Bulls need to build on that, right? We need to build on our up-tempo style, get a little bit better half-court execution, because there were some moments tonight where you can just kind of tell that the chemistry wasn't exactly there between Giddey and some of the new guys, and some guys didn't really know where to kind of be on the court, which is fine. First preseason game, not too worried about that. But you just got to continue playing this up-tempo style, because we saw some moments where I was really happy, where I'm like, hey, we launched that three, good job shooting it. You didn't make it, I don't care that you didn't make it. It's just better for you just to shoot it and keep the flow of the offense going. So that needs to continue. Weirdly enough, the Bulls didn't have that many turnovers tonight that were like egregious, right? There weren't that many like, oh, bad ball handling moment or bad pass moment or bad IQ moment, honestly. The Bulls tonight, in terms of their handling the ball, looked pretty good, which is kind of shocking, because I was expecting this team to have a lot of turnovers because of the higher tempo, but they didn't have that tonight. So it's for the next game, for me, it's obviously just working on the defense. Like, the point of attack defense needs to be so much better than it was tonight. I'm aware that the only real point of attack defender we have on the roster is Ayo Dosunmu. Giddey's not a defender, Kobe's not a defender, Levine's not really a defender. I know P. Will is a defender, but he's more of a help defender when playing the four. So the point of attack defense just needs to increase dramatically for this team just to even look better, like just slightly better on the defensive end. Specifically when we saw Mitchell and Mobley just wrecking us no matter where they went. You're not gonna get anything from Vooch, right? So it's gonna have to come onto the perimeter players, and I just hope to see that, you know, maybe it is like Julian Phillips coming into the game or something like that. It's gonna maybe increase the defensive capabilities of this roster. So interested to see how that's gonna work out. But that's kind of the thing that the Bulls need to work on heading into Saturday, because we have a long, 4 or 3 days in between. So the Bulls will for sure get a practice in before the next game, and hopefully they continue to work on some of the things they really need to work on. Yeah. You can see the effect he had on Aya. For example, he was stepping up communication and leadership wise from what I've seen in the vids the Bulls upload on YouTube. Yes. You're talking about DeRozan with Ayo Dosunmu and leadership. Yeah. Ayo was very vocal in those videos that the Bulls posted from training camp. So yeah. Is John as Derrick Rose arc? I won't lie, it looks pretty similar. I hope that's not the case, but I have always kind of said though that I don't think John Morant's prime is gonna last that long, because he relies so much on his athleticism like Rose did. Yeah, I mean, now what, he's 25 now. I mean, this would be, in my opinion, his like peak year, if assuming that he doesn't get injured again. But I mean, he missed pretty much all of last year. He only played 9 games last year. So he's got to find a way to stay healthy, man. I know he's a small dude, so, or smaller dude, I should say. He's obviously taller than me. But being a small guard at 6'2" and 174 pounds in today's game, ooh. So yeah, he's got to find a way to stay healthy. Those only 8 mid-range shots. 2 from Vooch, 2 from Zach, 1 from Giddey, 1 from Aya, 1 from Kobe, 1 from THT. Hey, that's awesome, actually. I didn't even know that. Make them 10 from people too. I didn't actually know that. I know Zach took 2, but he made both, right? Because with Levine, he came off a screen and he made both, and I was fine with those shots because it was in rhythm. Or I guess Zach did take a step back, which wasn't exactly great, but he made it, so eh. Vooch made that 18-footer off of like this little like pick and fade type action, so I guess that's also fine. I don't remember Ayo's, I'm not gonna lie. Let me see if I can remember it. Oh yeah, I'm not that's it's close enough to the 3-point line. Kobe. Oh, he made his. Oh, this was like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to remember this one, I think. Yeah, this was the turnaround shot that Kobe made. And then you said 1 from Giddey. God, when did Giddey make the... I just remember Giddey shooting 3s today, and that was weird to watch. This one was... Miss fadeaway. Oh, this is at the beginning of the second half, excuse me. Yeah. I won't lie. I don't need Josh Giddey shooting those shots. He's never been a good. Yeah. Less of that. Less of that from Giddey would be a good thing. And then, wait, really? People took 2 as well? Oh god, hold on. Okay, this was his floater though. Yeah. I remember this one. I don't remember this one actually. Shot early in 9:17. So I'm very happy that I was able to actually record the game tonight. I didn't get to my rant. I don't know if I have the voice for it, honestly. God, there's no score bug up, bro. Oh my god. Can't see. Okay, that's his little floater shot. I can live with that. Rose was built, Ja's like a twig. Yeah, Rose was bigger than Ja. Yeah, for sure. Like Ja reminds me more of a little more of an AI, right? In terms of just like body size, right? But yeah, I won't lie. I'm concerned about Morant moving forward. I mean, Allen Iverson was even smaller than Ja Morant was. Yeah. Okay, so I'll very quickly describe this, well, what was going on here. So, and now we'll end stream. So once again, I just want to say thank you guys for coming out to the stream tonight. This has been a two-hour post-game stream, so a lot of fun tonight. So I truly do appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes. Helps me out a ton. If you have not liked the video or the stream, please do hit the like button. Helps me out tremendously. I do appreciate it a lot. If you're new to the channel, like Bulls content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Making Bulls content all year long. Okay, so let me explain this whole situation for this. The video you're seeing up on screen and what I had to go through just to make sure that this is available to me and you guys tonight. Because if you're not aware, I like to break down film pretty much right after the game. And if you're not aware, the NBA does not release the full video footage on their website of the entire game until 3 hours has passed after the game has ended. So like even if I wanted to like just use like the NBA source and like pay for like video archive footage, they don't release the entire game film until 3 hours after the game is done. So that's just not going to work for me in terms of my post-game streams, right? I need the entire game ready to go pretty much right when the game ends. So that's just kind of how I need to do this, because this is how I do my post-game streams. I like to break down film, and I need it pretty much immediately. So, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Bulls have gone to over-the-air this year. So, if you don't know what that means, the Chicago Bulls are now broadcasting their the games via antenna. So, for you to get the Bulls game, it is no longer on YouTube TV anymore, which is what I used last year, which has made my life so much easier because I just hit record and it's available to me immediately. And I can pull it up on screen here. The only way to get Bulls games, Blackhawks games, and White Sox games moving forward is going to be via an antenna, unless you have DirecTV or I think another cable provider. But I don't have that. I don't use cable anymore. So for a lot of us, including myself, we had to go get an antenna, okay? And for me, I was just like, God almighty, like, what am I going to do? Like, I have to find a way to record the game and then find a way to take the recording and then get it up into my computer, like, immediately. Long story short, I did so much research. Like, I'm aware that DVRs exist. I'm not, I am maybe 23 in Gen Z, but I'm not like an entire, like, Gen Zer that doesn't know what happened in the past. I had a DVR in my childhood, okay? So I'm aware what DVRs are. So I looked into a bunch of DVRs. I was looking into, like, what can I do to make sure that I can get the DVR recordings onto my computer. It just basically isn't really possible. It's hard. There is maybe one DVR that might work, but unfortunately, the max amount of storage you can put onto the DVR is only 32 gigabytes, which is just like, that's going to be done in, like, I don't know, 4 Bulls games, not even. Like, you might not even get 4 Bulls games recorded and on just 32 gigabytes. So, that wasn't going to work for me either. So, I had to go through so much crap. First off was just trying to get the antenna and stuff installed properly. So I went and bought 2 antennas. They're both indoor. One's for downstairs, so I can actually watch the game downstairs on my bigger TV. And then there's one up here. I don't know, you guys can't see it really in the background because you can't see my window. It's shaded out. But if you come into my room right now, you probably think I'm a crazy person. Like, honestly, dead honest. Like, you probably are coming in here and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? I have a cord, okay, that is running from my laptop or computer, in a sense, that is running across my wall on here that you can't see, and it's running up to the antenna that is placed up against that window that you can't see right now, okay? So, yeah, I have an antenna that has a cord that is pretty much like running across my room, that is then connected to my PC. That after that's connected to my PC, I had to go through this whole other process that was not fun. So I'll try to explain it briefly. But basically, I bought a TV tuner for my PC. If you don't know what TV tuner is, it's kind of what, if for all you people that they have to go and buy antennas for your TV. Your TV probably has it, but it's basically the way that a TV can read antenna signal and turn it into television. So a lot of TVs just have it installed in it. Obviously, a computer does not have a TV tuner installed into it. So I went and bought a TV tuner that was like $80, which is not fun. And so I installed it. So like I can actually have on my computer, I can go and watch antenna TV on my computer. Came in, I installed it, I installed the program, and then voila, I was able to watch antenna TV on my computer. I then scanned for the new Chicago Sports Network, which is really hard to find for a lot of people, unfortunately, because they didn't do their stuff correctly over there. And thank you, Jerry Reinsdorf, for making our lives so much worse, because this absolutely sucks, trying to get good antenna signal. But for someone that is not exactly, like, immediately close to Chicago City, but I have to get the antenna signal from Chicago, it's a little hard. It's not always consistent, but so far it's okay. But basically, though, I find out that the TV tuner that I have plugged into my PC, Chicago Sports Network is trying to make sure that their quality is so high that they did not, they don't send out signals to like the older TV tuners, which is the one I kind of bought, and it's the only one that is available via PC. To explain in more technical terms, there are 2 types of video that gets sent out via the antenna waves from stations. There is the MPEG-2 and there's MPEG-4 video. The higher quality video is MPEG-4, or what a lot of people like to say is MP4, right? So for the Bulls, they're sending out MPEG-4 video. My TV tuner, unfortunately, that I bought for my PC is only MPEG-2 video, can only support MPEG-2 video. So when I went to the Chicago Sports Network on my PC under the program, it's just a black screen with just audio, which is what a lot of people had to deal with, because a lot of people apparently were asking Chicago Sports Network about it, that they had to put in their frequently asked questions area, what do I do if I only see a black screen with good audio? But basically it's that your TV tuner or TV does not support MPEG for video. So you need to go out and make sure you get a a TV tuner that supports MPEG-4 audio, okay? So, if you're wondering though, like, how did this screw me over so much? Well, my plan was to just record off the program for with the Chicago Sports Network on my PC. And I have a remote here that I could just press record, and then it would just go to my storage on my PC, and I don't have to really worry about it. I could then schedule to record all the Bulls games, and I don't even have to be at home. Well, because of the TV tuner for my PC does not support the video, that went out the window. So I had to then go buy another TV tuner, okay? And I look insane in here. But basically, what I had to do is the antenna that is connected to my window up there, that's getting all the signal, it is then connected to this TV tuner that I bought. This TV tuner then outputs an HDMI signal, which is supposed to usually just go right into your TV, right? So for me, I took the TV tuner, I plugged the HDMI signal into my Elgato HD60 capture card. The HD60 capture card is then connected to a monitor over here on my right that you guys cannot see at the moment. But I also have two TVs in my room here, but I'm using one of them for the Bulls. Then, as the Bulls game is getting played and it's live, before the game starts, I have to go to my OBS, and I have to start up my OBS and go to a specific scene that I have mapped out to then record only the Elgato, which is the capture card, which is recording the Bulls game. And even with that, I don't even know how good the quality is. I mean, I think the quality is fine, such a process, and I spent so much money on the previous TV tuner for my PC that it's so frustrating, but I will be returning it, thanks to Amazon. But, yeah, bro, oh my god. The days leading up to today, just to make sure that I had the recording available to me after the first preseason game, you have no idea how late I was up till for multiple nights just to make sure that this stuff was working right. I was genuinely like, I probably looked so insane just trying to get this all to work, but luckily for us, it works. Yeah, if you're not aware what the Elgato HD60 capture card is, it's not cheap. It is actually something that is close to $160, but I bought it like 5 years ago, I think. And it was so I could record my Xbox gameplay. I have an Xbox One and a 360, so I used it earlier last season when I recorded, or I did a stream with you guys when I played NBA 2K13 and just like rolled back the time and was playing my career from that. But yeah, I used it to make videos with my Xbox One when NBA 2K videos were the thing back then. I made like 2 videos and I decided to stop doing it, but I never thought it would come in handy like now. But I also will have to say, I had to makeshift a way to record this. Like, if you go online right now and like type in like, how do I record antenna TV without a DVR, the way I did it for this it's not something that's available. Like, this is just all me just trying to troubleshoot and like problem solve, and I can't even believe I came up with an idea that actually worked. And that's not me trying to toot my own horn. That's just me saying that this change by Jerry Reinsdorf is one of the stupidest things in the world. And the fact that they have not figured out some sort of deal with YouTube TV is absolutely insane. But I guess for them, they're probably saying like, hey, so if you want to have sponsored or commercials on our channel, it's free to everybody, so we're gonna have a lot of people tuning in because it's free to everybody. We just have to make sure that the antenna signal is always going to be good, which it's not right now. If you're in Champaign right now, like, I know one person right now that's in Champaign area that did not get to watch the Bulls game tonight because they haven't figured out the antenna signal out there for Champaign, which is insane because it's like, how can you set this up and talk about this thing for months before the first Bulls preseason game and still not have the antenna channel set up to go for all people in Champaign? Like, it is the dumbest thing I have ever seen a professional sports station or video or network station go to. And it's just thanks to Jerry Reinsdorf being an absolute stupid owner who doesn't know how to run things in the 21st century. So yeah, I'm sorry to rant, and I know that's not I know it's not fun to listen to me rant, and I'm sure my mic is peaking like crazy, but this was insane. Like, I was so upset when this was all happening that I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm telling you right now, like, this whole setup still sucks because the antenna signal could still be unstable, especially because I'm not like very close to the city at all points. Even downstairs, because my antenna that I used downstairs, there was a moment where like it looked like the entire video was lagging because the signal kind of got jammed for a second. So it is 2024, almost 2025, and yet we're here talking about antenna TV to watch Chicago Bulls games. It is awful. Like, it is genuinely awful that we're doing this right now. And I hate that we're doing this, but I'm just happy that I'm able to bring what you're seeing on screen right now, this recording to you guys for every post-game stream. And I have it set up so I'm able to do it. I'm very thankful that I'm able to do it. Like, I'm thankful that I have the money to spend for this, and thank my mom for giving me some money as well for all this. But God, man, like this is just the dumbest thing in the world, and I cannot stand that Jerry Reinsdorf did this. It's so stupid. So yeah, I hope that they go on YouTube TV at some point, because that would be the smart thing to do. But yeah. How much capacity you said your DVR has? So I didn't buy a DVR. Sorry if I wasn't clear. I did not buy a DVR. I was just looking into DVRs, and the problem is that the memory stick that you're gonna plug into, like the USB stick, or for me, I have an SSD that I bought. The max amount it can hold was only 32 gigabytes, and then even that was like, it was still a risk, because a lot of DVRs, what they do is that they encrypt everything. So if you took the memory stick from that DVR and put it into your computer, there's a good chance that your computer wasn't going to read it because it's encrypted. So that's the reason why I'm like, screw the DVR. We're just going to do this way to make sure that I can record this manually and it's going to be okay. At the end of the day. Yeah. Quality's pretty good for the issue you had to go through to record it. Yeah. Yeah. Antenna broadcast, hell yeah, nobody ever in 2024. I can't believe it, bro. Like, the Chicago's the third biggest market in the United States, and yet we're doing this. Like, I don't know what Jerry wants. It's so stupid. You think they'd have specialized people dealing with that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry himself is just randomly goes back to the 90s. So I don't know if you've seen this box, because like, obviously you're not a person that watches like the Chicago local, but this is the new website. It was NBC Sports Chicago, now it's just Chicago Sports Network. Okay, so they have a button up here that says how to watch, right? And if you look here, it's like Chicago is this, which I'm close enough to the Chicago signal to get this, luckily. But like, let's see again, if you're in Champaign, if you're in Springfield, if you're in Peoria, like, you're not able to get it right now. Like, there's no channel. It doesn't exist. I know some people found a stream that isn't exactly legal, and I'm not going to go ahead and say that stream name out loud, because it is, again, not necessarily legal. I did not go on that stream whatsoever. But I am aware that it exists. So if you need to do that to watch Bulls games, I'm not telling you about this. I'm just saying that this was a fact that I saw on the Twitter timeline, and you should probably go look into Twitter, because that's legal, and I'm just gonna end it there. But still, though, it's stupid as hell that they don't have the channel number ready to go, and it's the first preseason game tonight. Like, yeah, antenna broadcast free for all. I'm telling you, it's gonna blow their mind. Sherry Riser 2024, probably, yeah. So you're doing the recording through your capture card? Yes. I can kind of hear. The music's gonna cut out. You're not gonna see me, and you're not gonna hear anything for a second. But basically, I'm gonna show you. Like, right now, it's off. But this is. I have a whole scene. Okay, actually, it's currently a blank screen. But basically, that blank screen right there is like, it's set up for my Elgato HD60 capture card. And that capture card is set up to my TV to make sure, just make sure that things are running properly. But yeah, I have to record everything via my capture card as if I'm like playing a video game and recording it, or capturing it, right? So like, let's say I'm playing like Fortnite or something. Like, it's the same way I would be capturing that. That's how I'm recording Bulls games. It is the dumbest thing in the world. Don't forget, both the Bulls and White Sox are poverty franchises, though. I mean, sure, if you want to say that. They act like poverty franchises, but they shouldn't be. Hey, at least it's coming soon, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I won't be shocked if they don't find a channel number for, like, in Champaign until, like, next year. Yeah. Elgato is recording this. Yeah, Elgato is pretty much recording this. Like, I have a capture card that's external. I don't have the capture card that's in my PC. I have an external capture card that was like for my Xbox. And so it takes the HDMI output from either Xbox or in this case it's the antenna. And then I have it connects to a USB cord, and that USB cord connects to my USB hub I have on here. Yeah, it's not great. It's not something I want to do, but I have to do it. So if you're not aware, I have to, before every single Bulls game, I have to manually go record it on OBS, like, or start the recording on OBS and then manually stop it. I can't, there's nothing I could like do to automate it, right? So, you know, it is what it is. That's how we'll be doing things this year. Is your external Elgato overheating at all? A friend of mine is, mine's just burning. No, mine was perfectly fine through all of this, so not sure about that. It's also not very used a lot, but yeah, I think mine's been perfectly fine. All right, y'all. So I want to say one more time, I'm gonna end stream here, but thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Had a lot of fun talking to you guys. I saw a lot of new members, a lot of returning members, so appreciate all the support from you guys. It is true that yes, I am finally monetized, so I am able to finally get money from YouTube. So again, this is not my full-time job. I wish it was, but I'm gonna be doing my best to try to cover as many Bulls games, obviously, for the year. Still, life happens. There's going to be some games that are in the middle of the day that I am not going to be able to get to because work. But still, I truly do appreciate the community that we've been building here. If you have not hit the like button on stream, please do. Helps me out a ton. And yeah, I'm going to see you guys on Saturday for the Bulls taking on the Grizzlies. So I'm looking forward to that game as we continue to get more Bulls basketball, which is crazy to think about because I don't know, man. For me, this offseason felt pretty long to me. I don't know about you guys, but it felt like a really long offseason for me. Maybe for you guys it was pretty short, but for me, this felt like a really long offseason, and I needed basketball back in my life for a while. So I'm glad that it's back, and we get to talk Bulls basketball on here. So appreciate it, you guys. Make sure that if you have not set up your antenna, please go set up your antenna and get things properly set up, because I had some people in the pregame stream tonight that were like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong, but like my antenna isn't really working great for it and I can't get the signal. I'm like, oh my god. Like, make sure your antenna is set up. It sucks, but just make sure it's set up. But as always, thank you guys for the support. I'll see y'all on Saturday. All right, peace.